money to have that merger happen. And you know what? We are still paying money to float the risk that that merger has incurred. We are still paying money into Bank of America. It still has a lot of taxpayer money, almost $118 billion that is on record, and more in loans from the Fed that the Fed refuses to disclose the exact nature of. And that fact that the SEC, under President Obama, made the decision to allow a sort of little wrist slap for that behavior was wrong to begin with. So I hope this will be looked into further. I don't know that it will change the bonus structure on Wall Street in general. Again, that fight for bonuses goes on all the time, and bonuses are collectively more. But it is good that that decision was made.
The total level of the bailout, in your article, you put that figure at over $19 trillion, over 17 of which went to the financial industry. How did you come up with this number? We've heard it reported much less.
Well, I actually also reported it as less not too long ago. That number is compiled, and I run the reports on a regular updated basis on my website. It is compiled out of all publicly available information, from releases from the FDIC, from going into their databases, which anyone can do. You just kind of have to tinker to find how banks are doing and what they've gotten in terms of FDIC guarantees for their debt, looking at the Fed's balance sheet, looking at the language, and some of it's very convoluted, of what comes out of the Treasury when they change programs and enhance programs that have already been given to the banks that don't tend to get headline news when they happen. So it's really kind of digging and scratching into what is publicly available and changes publicly but not openly to try and compile a picture of where the bailout has been. And I do break it down then into what's come out of the Fed, which is about $8 trillion of that, what's come out of the Treasury Department, which is around $5.5 trillion, another almost $2 trillion from the FDIC, more in terms of joint efforts by all three that are a little harder to figure out who's getting what risk and who's paying what to the industry, and compile it that way. And that $17.5 trillion, that also includes a recent addition, which is $3.5 trillion to back money market funds. Recall those were having deep problems at the end of last year and throughout the fall. They're not having as many problems now, but there was still a choice made between the Treasury Department and the FDIC to enhance the guarantees in case those fall apart again. So some of the money's been given direct, some of the money's on loan from the Fed where we don't have all of the details, and some of it's kind of there as deep backup in case things go really south again for the banking industry. And then a small portion of that actually has been given to consumers in some way through the fiscal stimulus package, through the Recovery Act, through some tax incentives to first-time home buyers, and through the Cash for Clunkers program. So there is a small portion, less than 9%, that's kind of been given to individuals, but the rest of it, the other 91%, has been given to Wall Street or to the markets in general.
Nomi, what about the proposal for a consumer financial protection agency and the Chamber of Commerce launching a multi-million-dollar campaign to kill it?